What is up, Packer fans, football fans out there listening and watching, guys? What is up? So, in this video, I want to talk about the what if for the Green Bay Packers, and it's going to be mainly surrounding Brian Gutekunst. Okay, so what if we would have put pieces around Aaron Rodgers when he was there? What if we lose this game to the Minnesota Vikings coming up right before the trade deadline? What does that mean for them, moving forward? Is Brian Gutekunst going to make a move? All of that and more in this video. So before I get into it, guys, take a second to subscribe. So I don't want to focus on the past because the past is the past and you can't rewrite the past. So, but I do want to talk about, Aaron Rodgers, we all knew, four-time MVP, future Hall of Famer. We knew anytime he stepped out on the football field, not even just us as Packer fans or the Packer organization, the whole NFL knew that Aaron Rodgers was a complete game changer. He not only had a chance to win every game, he had a chance to take your team to the playoffs and be a Super Bowl contender. That was the type of player Aaron Rodgers was. So, what did Brian Gutekunst do to put pieces around Aaron Rodgers, whether it be in the draft or free agents? How many first round wide receivers and tight end draft picks did they go and draft? They didn't, right? So, did they put stud pieces around him then in free agency? They didn't, right? So Aaron Rodgers, they had an opportunity with him. They didn't capitalize on it. What teams did, right? So you look at teams like the Rams and they go out and get Von Miller and he's a difference maker on that defense and he just changes that culture. They go and they trade for Matthew Stafford. He changes that. They go to the Super Bowl. You look at San Francisco. San Francisco last year starting out 3-4. They go out and draft or trade for Christian McCaffrey. What did they give up, right? They give up a second, a third, a fourth, and a future fifth. Why did they give up all that? Why? Because Christian McCaffrey is a game changer. He's a difference maker. Anytime he steps out on the field, he's going to win you football games, right? They finished the season 13-4 or something like that. It's ridiculous, right? But he was worth it because he is a game changer and he was worth it for that team. You look at Miami and Tyreek Hill, he's a game changer. He's a difference maker. He's a disruptor. You have to account for him on defense. And he's a complete asset to Miami. You look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia goes and get A.J. Brown, C.J. Johnson Gardner, DeAndre Swift, guys like that. They're doing it. They're making the moves. They're putting themselves in a position to not just win games, not just go to the playoffs, but be Super Bowl contenders. All of those teams that I mentioned have gone out and done that. So what has Brian Gutekunst done? Nothing. Okay. So he's drafted fairly well. You look at Green Bay and you're like, okay, they have some nice young talent around them. They've got some pieces. Yes, we were dealing with some health issues, but what if we lose this game to the Minnesota Vikings? What does that mean for the Packers? Okay, so if they lose this game to the Minnesota Vikings, the Packers, even if they don't, even if they win, they shouldn't be looking at, okay, free agency, I'm sorry, the trade deadline's approaching. So we need to go add some assets to our team, unless it's like, so I know we've been talking about the Jerry Jeudy thing. The only thing that makes sense for me for the Packers to add would be a guy like Jerry Jeudy, a guy that's a team's really looking forward to getting rid of, and you give up like a fifth round pick for him, so you're not giving up much for a guy like that. That's could potentially add some value in the future. But the Packers shouldn't be focused. Their focus shouldn't be, hey, let's go out and get somebody. It should be like, hey, what could we sell? What could we give up? And the number one guy that I think they need to get rid of, and because of the slow start and because of his age and because of the money he carries, I think Preston Smith is that guy that you're like, we've got some depth there. So he is replaceable. So I say the Packers and Brian Gutekunst, he has a chance to redeem himself if he goes and does a couple moves of like, okay, let's sell a guy like Preston Smith. Let's get some draft capital for this upcoming season. We know that we are in rebuilding mode. We know that is our focus needs to be on, is Jordan Love our guy, or do we need to draft a guy? So let's take a look at who they are, what are their draft picks coming up? Okay, so Packers are slated to, as it says right here, to get 3 picks, a 4th rounder for Alan Lazard and 2 6th-rounders for Jarran Reed and Dean Lowry. They're still got a chance for a 7th with Robert Tonyan. Okay, so what is their subtotal? Okay, with the 4 extra picks added, the Packers will have a 1st-rounder, 2 seconds, a 3rd, 2 fourths, a 5th, 3 sixths, and a 7th. Okay, so that's a lot. That is a lot of draft capital this upcoming season. So if you go and you give up a guy like Preston Smith, he's going to have some value added there. I say you go and you do something like that. He could give you some more draft capital this upcoming draft. I think the Packers need to do that before the trade deadline. Let me know what you guys think. Weigh in on your comments. Let me know what you think about. I know what you think about Brian Gutekunst because we all think the same thing about Brian Gutekunst. He's not good. Okay, so I thought the guy, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I knew Aaron Rodgers was holding him back a little bit. He was kind of handcuffing that whole organization, and I understand that the last couple of years there. I get that. I do understand that. So Brian Gutekunst, what has he done so far this season? He hasn't done much, in my opinion. We'll see. Trade deadline is Tuesday. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do they give up a guy like Preston Smith? Do you think they should do something else? Should they hang on to him? Let me know what you guys think. Go Pack.